Hi, I'm Christie, and this is Chapter Chatter and Book Babble. So this is my YouTube channel. I have been following BookTube for years. This is the first time I've been brave enough to record a video. So I'm excited, and I'm so happy that you're here. I wanted to start out just by introducing myself, and the way I thought I would do that is to do the newbie book tag, which I've seen multiple times across BookTube. And so I wrote down the questions, and I'm excited to kind of dive into that. So bear with me. Here we go. Question number 1, why did you start the channel? Well, first of all, I'm obsessed with books. I love to read and even write. I'm trying currently to write a short story. So, yeah. And another reason is because I really wanted to be a part of the fun and the mayhem and chaos that sometimes I see in the BookTube community, but particularly because I truly, truly love TBR games, and I have created one totally inspired by Stephanie over at Bookish. I'll link it. I can't believe I can't think of the name of her channel. I think it's Stephanie's Book Verse or something like that. Anyway, her TBR Star Hop totally inspired my TBR game. But I created it and I'm excited to play it. And it feels kind of wasted almost to play it, just to play it, you know. So I want to play it on camera. And I'm super excited about that. And so that's another reason I created the channel. Also, just because I'm a very creative person. Creativity is my joy and my passion. And I feel like I already, in my crafting group, my paper crafting group, I already run kind of a junk journal and book thing. It's kind of like a book club, but basically what we do is we read the books together and then we journal our experience through the book. And so I already do that, and so I just thought this would be a really fun extension, or you know, maybe that's an extension of this, but anyway, I just thought they would work really well together and be a good time. Okay, question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Oh boy, I have seen so much on BookTube. I'm not sure I have anything unique to bring to the community. But what I will say about that is that no matter how much the same thing is done, everybody's experience will make it unique. Everybody's experience will make it different, right? Because we're different people. We're unique people. That said, some things that I will bring to the community. My TBR Twister game. I'm excited about that. Did I mention I was excited about that? I'm planning to do some things with reading journals, with creative ways to track our reading, those sorts of things. Maybe some bookish challenges, some experiments with my reading, and of course, you know, the gamified stuff I'm excited about. All right, so number 3, what are you most excited about? I think I just said that. Just sharing my reading journey, playing my TBR Twister game, especially talking about books in a non-academic way. Because I am currently working on my dissertation to get my PhD, everything that I do as far as reading goes seems to be academic, and I'm super excited to do it in a non-academic way and to talk to people about books in a non-academic way where I can just be like, hey, I liked that book because I liked it because this happened and that happened, instead of, you know, having to go in depth and think through the whole thing and criticize and analyze, and I just want to enjoy the process, and I'm super excited to do that. So And then, of course, finding my people, my bookish people. I'm excited to do that. I'm hoping y'all are out there, right? I'm excited to talk with you. All right, number 4. Why do you love reading? It sounds so cliche. I love reading because I love that whole experience of stepping into different lives, into different worlds, into different experiences. I love, looking at things through different perspectives. All of those things I love reading for. And I know that sounds very, very, very like everybody says that. But it's true. It is the primary reason I love reading. I love to feel something and to have a book that just really emotionally messes me up, or it changes me in some way and stays with me forever. Those sorts of books are the best experience. Okay, number 5. What books got you into reading? So, when I was a kid, I was reading Sweet Valley High. And that series was like a huge thing in my childhood. I know I was reading prior to that, but that's just one that sticks with me. The Choose Your Own Adventure books, I would read those cover to cover and cover to cover and cover to cover. Well, not really, because you can't really read them cover to cover. But I remember I would go through the whole thing. I would mark all of my choices. When I got to the end, I would circle the little thing at the end that said the end. And then I would go back and I would make a different choice, and I'd circle that until I'd gone through every choice in the book and gotten through every ending. And I would do that for hours. So that was another big one. And then as I got a little older, I really got into the romance, like the Harlequin romances, those sorts of things. And then as I became a young woman, probably in my late teens, I got very much into the mysteries. I loved Sue Grafton. I was enjoying the more thriller type things. And then for a long time, I stopped reading. Before that, my children got me into Harry Potter. And I read all the Harry Potter books. I read all the Twilight books. I read all the Hunger Game books. Well, then for a long time, I stopped reading. And then it was just in the last couple of years, I think, that I started picking up books again. And I'm not really sure I can pinpoint something that got me into them. But what has kept me in them, I think, outside of my schoolwork, was I took a British monsters class during my master's degree, and I just absolutely loved reading those stories. And then I discovered I had a real love for a lot of different horror, and anyway, I think there's another question where we get into all that, but yeah, so that's it. Okay, questions that I have for my favorite booktubers. So my biggest question is just, how do you stay consistent with your filming, with your reading? How do you work out the consistency in a day-to-day busy life? Because that seems to me to be a big deal. Also, how do you grow your channel without getting overwhelmed? How do you go from 0, which is where I'm starting, right? Actually, I think I have 1 follower. How do you go from that to something substantial that makes you feel like you're not completely talking to yourself when you're on here? And then, of course, what is your best piece of advice for me as a newcomer? Even though I've been around for a long time, I'm a newcomer recording, right? So what is your best piece of advice for me? Okay, number 7. What do I think will be the challenge that will be hardest to overcome? And again, that's going to be consistency. I worry about, I have a plan to put out a couple of videos a month, or I'm sorry, a couple of videos a week. But my concern is consistency and time management. Also nerves. I do tend to get nervous, although I do better, I think, recording, because I know I can go back and edit it, right? Whereas if I'm in person, I can be very all over the place. Just ask my students, they'll tell you. Okay, and then perfectionism. I am a huge perfectionist, and it's very difficult for me to, I'm sorry, my face is, it's a nerves thing, but my face is like itching, and of course it's always around your nose, you know, so you look like you're messing, anyway, whatever. So I'm a huge perfectionist, and so it's going to be very difficult for me to accept whatever I do as good enough, right? All right. When did you start reading? This is question number 8. When did you start reading? I'm pretty sure I was born with a book in my hand. I have read my entire, well, other than that time period, I told you I quit reading for a long time. But I've been reading since I was tiny. I was the child who, I was going to the library, and they had to, back then, I don't know if it's still that way, but back then you were only allowed to check out books from the children's section, and you were only allowed to check out books from a certain age group, and you know, that advanced as you aged. And my mother had to go up there and say, just let her get what she wants, because I was wanting books from the adult section and they were saying no, and my mom's like, she reads everything, just let her get what she wants, because she can read it, you know. And I was 4 or 5 years old. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I was born with a book in my hand, and like I said, I just resumed reading a few years ago. So I do still struggle a little bit with reading with my eyes since I came back to reading, and I've discovered, recently learned that I have ADHD. I never knew that was what was going on, but just in the last few years I've found that out, and which explains why. But as I've aged, it's gotten more and more difficult for me to sit with a book and concentrate on it. My mind is everywhere, and so I tend to do better with audiobooks where I'm multitasking than I do sitting reading with my eyes. However, I'm trying to train myself to read with my eyes, so I am trying to force myself to spend more time actually reading a physical book. That's been a challenge. So that's something I intend to tackle with my channel. I'm excited about it. Okay, where do you read? This is question number 9. Where do you read? So mostly it's either in my recliner in the living room if I'm trying to read physically. Sometimes even if I'm doing audiobooks, I'll put on headphones and sit here and like design digitals, or play a game or something on my computer. If I'm multitasking, I am probably at my crafting table, and I'm probably working on some sort of art project while I am listening to a book. And most of my reading time comes actually from my commute. I teach at a university that's 3.5 hours from home. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 7 hours round trip commute. And so I spend that entire 7 hours, 2 days a week, listening to audiobooks. So I get a lot of reading done that way as well. And then finally, number 10, what kind of books do you like? Oh my goodness. I love horror. I love thrillers. I love dystopian literature. One of my all-time favorite books is The Last Babylon. I also love The Stand, which I'm currently rereading. It is the largest book on my February TBR, and it is, I'm about 2/3 of the way through it, I think. It's a long book. It's like 45 hours on audiobook. And of course, I'll listen at about 2 times speed. I can't do the 3 times that other people do. I can't do that. But I do listen at 1.5 to 2. So it makes it a little bit faster. I also love middle grade, and especially middle grade horror. I love YA books. I love fairy tale retellings. And then when I'm feeling overwhelmed or sad or depressed, those are the times I turn to a good, like, romance. Like, I love the almost comedy romance. It's not comedy. What are they? How do they refer to that? Anyway, it's like a lighthearted romance. I love it. I don't necessarily love all the like sexual stuff, although I'm fine with it if it's in the book. But I like to see a real lighthearted, fun, and funny type of romance. That makes me very happy. And I can get through those in a really big hurry because they just are so easy to read, right? So that's it. Oh my goodness, that was all 10 questions. And so, yeah, that's me in a nutshell, guys. And I was going to go through my February TBR with you. I don't know. Maybe I'll save that for another video. So, oops. So thanks for watching, and I hope you'll come back and visit with me again, and I will be excited to get some more content out for you, and definitely be playing my game for my March TBR. So I'll talk with you later. Bye.